Okay, gang, last step with one-step equations. We have done addition, we have done subtraction, we have done multiplication, and today we are going to do division. We are going to ask ourselves, what is happening? And the answer is going to be division today. And so how do we undo division? We do the opposite, right? We do multiplication. So, what is this going to look like? Let's see. Look at our first example here. What is our variable? Our variable is D. What is happening to D? Division is happening to D. So, how do I undo division? I multiply both sides by what? Well, it's being divided by 3, so that means I have to multiply by 3. So guess what's going to come into play here? Your understanding of algebra, your understanding of integers, and your understanding of fractions, okay? But it's not hard because, look, we know that 3 can be written as 3 over 1, don't we? Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're multiplying both sides by 3 or 3 over 1. When I do that, check it out. The 3's go away. They cancel, the whole cross-canceling thing. And what am I left with on this side? D, or D over 1, but I don't need to put it over 1. D equals 39 because 13 times 3 is 39. So now I'm going to go to my check and I'm going to plug, I'm going to erase these just so it's easier to see. I'm going to plug 39 in for D. So I'm going back to my original equation and I'm putting 39 in for D over 3 equals 13. Okay, 39 divided by 3 is 13. 13 equals 13. Therefore, my answer must be 39. That's it. Okay, but we're going to take our time and be careful because sometimes we have negatives. My variable is n. What's happening to n? It's being divided by -8. Therefore, I have to undo it with multiplication. And I'm multiplying not by 8. I'm multiplying by -8 on both sides. Whatever you do to one, you do to the other. It's essentially -8 over 1. Okay? These cancel out, which is what I want because n wants to be alone. Woohoo! N is alone. And on the other side, I have -72 because the rules say negative times a positive is a negative. I'm going to go next door and check it out. -72 divided by -8, just copying this over here, equals 9. Is that true? Well, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. 72 divided by 8 is 9. And so, yes, that checks. And therefore, this is my answer. Let's look at the next one. What's happening to H? It's being divided by 2. Multiply both sides by 2 to undo it. These cancel out because of cross-canceling when I multiply. And I am left with H equals 38. Come back over here and check it. 38 divided by 2 equals 19. 19 equals 19, and therefore 38 is my answer. Now, we have seen in all of our other days that sometimes the variable's on the other side. It's okay. Don't go multiplying by -6 just because it's on the left. You have to look at the variable. What is happening to the variable? It's being divided by 8. Therefore, I need to multiply by 8 on both sides. Take your time and think it through. When I multiply by 8 or 8 over 1, these nicely cancel out. I'm left with P on this side and -48 on this side. Negatives are not optional, guys. If there's a negative involved, you have to take it into account. All right? 48 is not the answer. -48 is the answer. And when I go to plug it back into my original equation, I see that negative 6 equals negative 6, and it checks. So negative 48 is my answer. Couple more examples here. Okay, I hope you're right. You have to be writing this down, guys, because this is how your brain pathways, the neurons are going to form so that you can do this. You know, you can assimilate this into your understanding of math and of algebra. Okay, what's happening to the n? It's being divided by 5. How do I undo it? I multiply by 5. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. I said it wrong, didn't I? Am I multiplying by 5? No, I am multiplying by negative 5. Okay, see what happens when I rush? You guys do the same thing. Don't do it. All right, so these go away, and I'm left with n equals negative times a negative is positive. 14 times 5 is 70. It's positive. So when I plug it back in, I can see that since I'm doing positive divided by negative, my answer is negative 14 in my check, and that works. Therefore, 70 is the correct value for n. Now, very rarely, but occasionally on your homework, you're going to see it, so I'm going to show you. Sometimes they write it not as a fraction. They write it as y divided by 13. I think I'm just going to recommend, it's just easier to see it if you guys rewrite the problem like this because it means the same thing. Okay, and then when you go to multiply by 13 on both sides, you'll be able to see the cancellation better. That's what I'm going to recommend that you do for this. Okay, and you'll see that your answer is 91. I'm not going to check it. Okay, so take your time. Beware of your rules, or else I'm just going to have to send it back and have you do it again. Okay, write your faces out if it helps you so that you can see that if they're the same, the answer is positive. If they're opposite, if they're different signs, then the answer is negative. Okay?